share the Chiefs' faith in this trio of wide receivers.
We could have included, there was other important notes in that article that we could have included as well. Like what? Andy Reid being thrilled that Jackson County Detention Center let Rashee Rice leave a couple times to go get his knee checked out. That was important. It was nice of them. He said it was nice of them.
I just don't know if that's an update you want to hear.
Well, it's better than the alternative.
It's better than the alternative.
So listen, here's it on the Chiefs wide receivers.
Okay.
It's twofold. One is they believe internally that last year's lack of production was a combination of injuries and being unavailable, the suspension plus Xavier Worthy getting hurt immediately and not being 100%. Coaching, which is they replaced wide receiver coach and offensive coordinator, and a total lack of any running game threat that allowed teams to only play the pass. That is one bucket of this. They think all of those things, you hope the injuries are not as bad this year, you change coaches, and you spent money on the running back. That's one piece. The other piece of it is the Chiefs' philosophy, and I agree with this, is the only way to continue.
Yeah, I've talked about that a million times. I'm telling them all these teams should be going out and trying to get Diggs. I think it's a little bit harder for Kansas City to go out and get Diggs because I think just from like a PR standpoint of all the things that they've already kind of dealt with that it can get a little bit messy that they may just want to stay away from. But yeah, I mean, I just think that the Chiefs last season were significantly better than what they presented and what things looked like. And when you combine injuries and then just some bad just some bad games, and then obviously, straight up injuries from Mahomes, all of that, suspensions, everything looks so much more magnified than it really is, and you start to mesh things together, and it gives you not the most accurate view who the Kansas City Chiefs were. Now, I think even on their best day, were they that scary Kansas City Chiefs team that we know? No. Were they still going to be competitive? Were they still going to be difficult to beat? For sure. For sure. And so now when you add in a Kenneth Walker, I think he'll be better. You have actually Rashee Rice and Worthy and whatnot healthy and playing for the full season, they're going to be significantly better, right? Like you're going to have those things most likely taken care of. Again, does it automatically turn you into the bona fide number one team in the NFL? No, not necessarily. But you will for sure be significantly more competitive. Make no mistake about it. Trading for like a Jalen Waddle or DJ Moore is not desperate. And it's such an obnoxious thing to say. It's so obnoxious. It just is. There's just no other way around it. No team's ever allowed to make any type of moves. It's just desperate. It's just so obnoxious. It just is. It just is. Could you imagine if any other team went out and paid for Kenneth Walker? Very big. Oh man, this is so desperate. Oh, so desperate. You can get a running back in the 3rd round of the draft. You don't got to pay money there. Like, it's just endless. It's just so absurd. But yeah, I did the numbers with Rashee Rice, snorts, because I was battling with someone in the comment section. Thereof of course typical Mahomes fan trying to downplay Andy Reid and just the typical nonsense, and I went through it and showed that Rashee Rice actually was if he was having an awesome season if you do put him on like a 17-game trajectory like the receptions, like essentially he was getting some of the easiest throws and some of the most production compared to any other receiver out there, right? So, there was still a lot of synergy between Mahomes, Rice, and Andy consistently, like way consistent and like significantly easier, shorter passes yet still GE. Ting maximal production. Maximal production. So again, making things easier for the offense, for Rashee Rice, for Mahomes, and we're on pace to be up there or better than the receivers that actually obviously did play, full 15, 16, 17 games or so. But having such an easier job getting there, again, a significantly easier job of getting there. So that's one of those things that I don't see why that would not be there. Xavier Worthy. I was talking to, Sean, super duper Kansas City Chiefs fan Sean. And he's like, I'm already considering Worthy a bust. And I just think that's too premature, way too soon. Listen, you were kind of, because you probably listened to Nick where he acted like Worthy was just the greatest player ever, right? It was the biggest steal ever. Oh my gosh. Thank you Buffalo Bills. You're a clown organization for giving us the opportunity to get Worthy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. He's going to take over, and it was just like always like this build as this big massive thing. I think it'll continue to be a quality receiver. You know, I think we get so obsessed with first round, second round, third round, fourth round. And if you draft someone in the first round, they have to be like franchise transforming, you know, and it's just like that's not you get a first round if unless you trade away. Obviously, you get a first round pick every single year. You get a first round pick every single year. Okay. Only picks that are that you can really expect to be truly like transforming and to be like, okay, this is amazing. Top 5, top 3. Like outside of that, you're just looking for someone who if you just got a starter, then you're in business. Okay. That's really at the end of the day, that's all you can actually really hope for. Can he start? Can he be a contributor? Yes or no? And I think Xavier Worthy will continue to get better. We keep thinking that these receivers like you just get them and year 1 or year 2 they just absolutely pop and are dominant and great and special and show who they are in those first couple of years. That's not really always the case. It's really not. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's most of the time it's actually like second or third or fourth year, not the first season. So like and last year again was a mess. Was injured. Wasn't quite the same. The team wasn't quite the same. So, I just think last year was a much messier representation of who they were. I think that's really ultimately what it comes down to. And I'm going to trust the Chiefs' internal evaluation rather than everyone else's external evaluation. So I do think that they will be better. Although I did push for saying like get that big-time offensive piece cause that is what I still think the Kansas City Chiefs would want and would need and Patrick Mahomes would want cause I do also agree that, No, I'm not going to just use his completion percentage or whatever metrics Mania was using. I do think Patrick Mahomes needs to play better, but I think his stats itself will look better with I'll just say a higher quality team. And so that goes without a given, but his accuracy, his decision making. I think some of that needs to improve, which I know again is, we can say that at the completion percentage as well, but no, he was taking weird chances last year. Really the last couple of years, he's been inaccurate deep ball. Nothing to do with the receivers. He's just has been inaccurate. I'm curious to see how that can change, if that will change. I'm curious to see how his style of play this year is going to change a little bit. Whether because he's just not fully 100% Allen with his knee. And that when I mean all in, I just mean like in terms of health-wise, not like he's not putting it all in. Or what the story is with, just his own mental journey, honestly his own internal journey of like how he needs to change, how he needs to evolve, he's getting older, he's coming off a major injury, is he like no I'm going to play the exact same way that I've always played, or is he like no okay it's time to hit the go button and start the process of slowly changing a little bit how I play like I would. Would love to know what the conversations are between Andy, Ed and Mahomes about that. I really would because it could very much be like, kid, there's no reason to change how you play right now. You got to do what you do best, right? Or it could be like, hey, see, this is what we've been talking about this for the last few years. This is time now. This is time for us to really double down and focus on slowly, transitioning into a new era for you. I don't know. I could see it going, both ways, honestly. But I'm sure it's a conversation between Andy and Mahomes. So, I'm curious to see what that looks like. But yeah, I just think at the end of the day, no matter who they have from receivers, as long as they have competency, as long as they just have competency, Andy and Mahomes are going to make it work. So, I'm not too worried about that. To me, it's just all about how special can it be? How great can it be? Not necessarily how competitive, because I expect competitiveness, but then when you start looking around at the other teams in the division and all of that, it's like, is just being competitive enough? If we say, hey, I think Worthy and Rice and Thornton will work out and Kenneth Walker will help the pass game, this that, and the third. It's like, is that enough to beat the Los Angeles Rams with Myles Garrett, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, right? Like it's different though. That's the reality. You're potentially going up different quality of opponents. If this was the team a few years ago, I'd have even more confidence because I'm still obviously confident they're going to be competitive and way better than everyone is who's trying to bury them. But if this was, 22, 23, whatever the years are, then I would feel way more comfortable and confident. But I do think that the league has fundamentally gotten better and in higher quality all around. So, how will that look in relation to this as well? I think that's always a really important variable that I pretty much never hear discussed. Never hear discussed. It's like how good are you in relation to everyone else? And how does that start to color how you're evaluating any individual team in any given moment? That to me goes a long way. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Kansas City Chiefs? Do you think, are you comfortable with the roster at large? At hand who they have right now, specifically obviously, the receiving core, but just the offense really as a whole. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next.